let's talk some football. There's plenty of football to talk about, even though the top story continues to be the top story. Aaron Rodgers isn't talking, but now current teammates are, specifically Davante Adams. He did some media rounds yesterday, and he initially said he's behind Aaron Rodgers 100%. Okay, fine. He's your quarterback. Of course you're going to be behind him 100%. What are you going to say? I completely disagree with what he's doing. I object to how he's conducting his business. That wouldn't help. That wouldn't be useful. Teammates support teammates. Quarterback supports receiver. Receiver supports quarterback. And that part of it I wasn't surprised by at all. I'm behind him 100%. I would expect most of his teammates to say that if they were asked about it on the record.
Yeah, well, I agreed. I mean, that's kind of like common code, right? With your teammates in the locker room, your workmates, whatever it is. You're always going to try to be that good teammate, good support friend, like, hey, I'm behind you with whatever you got to deal with in business. I'm here to support you. So that is part of it. But, I mean, of course, I think there's more to it than just that because, yeah, they got a special connection. Davante Adams and Rodgers has been really special the last 3 years. Last year, it might have been the most special combination in football. I mean, Davante Adams, he doesn't want to see Aaron Rodgers leave. He knows that's going to be a huge part of where his legacy goes from here, whether Aaron Rodgers is there, and what they can continue to do, and can they continue to have years where he gets 15, 18, receptions and all those things. And even with Davante Adams, Mike, I'll just say this too, like he's even though he plays receiver, he realizes they haven't given him the greatest support in the world as far as Aaron Rodgers. And honestly, Mike, I bet you Davante Adams at times is a little bit like, hey, I wouldn't mind if we got a Robin in here. I'm Batman, and get me a Robin. Get a number 2 guy. Take some pressure off of me so the bright lights aren't always on me in big games to take me away. So he understands, I think, the situation in totality. And, of course, like you said, he's going to support his guy.
Or another Batman. I mean, Tyreek
or
Hill
another
has
Batman,
Travis Kelce.
right. You're right.
Batman and Batman's better than Batman and Robin.
It is. It definitely is. Yes, 2 Batmans beat a Batman and a Robin, no doubt. No, you're right, but I think he probably realizes that. Again, we've gone over this a few times. I feel like recently it's come up organically, but like Batman, Robin, Batman, whatever. You go through the great receivers in football and history, they had another guy there with them. Jerry Rice had John Taylor. He was damn good. I mean, Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. So it's not like there's not enough footballs to go around to get these guys catches. So I think Davante Adams probably realizes the big picture there, too, to go, wait, they're not supporting Rodgers. Now they're messing up my future here and what I can do as far as getting a legacy here in the NFL. And he probably also realizes, wait, we're not capitalizing on what we could really be and a greatest show on turf type of offense with this quarterback and me at receiver and do all those things. He probably feels like they're leaving some potential out there every year too.
Another thing that Davante Adams said, and this reminds me of the report last week from Mike Garafolo of NFL Media that Aaron Rodgers was telling teammates who were due to become free agents, hey, I may not be here. Well, Davante Adams after 2021 is due to become a free agent.
Yeah.
So regardless of what Aaron Rodgers said last year, enough is happening now that Davante Adams needs to factor Rodgers' presence into his future. That's my guy. That's the only guy I've had except for the 2017 season when he got hurt. That's the only guy I've played with, and we've built up a special connection over the years, and it's put us both in really good positions in our career. Not that he needed me to come along for it because he was already in that spot. And there's more. We established a lot together. Yeah, it would change a lot. It doesn't mean potentially I would be gone, but I definitely would do some extra thinking if my guy wasn't here. Yeah, because you want to go to a place maybe where your guy is.
Right.
Maybe if your guy is in Denver, that's where you want to go. Or if he goes to the Raiders, that's where you want to go. Or he goes to some other team, maybe that's where you want to go. The familiarity is transferable from one team to the next. Otherwise, you're getting started from scratch with Jordan Love. And they still don't know what they have in Jordan Love.
Exactly. That's why they can't move on.
The GM of the Packers said after the first day of the draft that Jordan Love has a long way to go. Look, no preseason last year, limited reps, didn't play at all last season. They don't know what he can do. Davante Adams doesn't know what he can do.
Right.
None of these guys know what he can do. And he may get thrust into the starting lineup if Aaron Rodgers isn't there.
I got to think that's one of the things that, panics the Packers as of right now, and why, they definitely would want Rodgers back this year, just because, there's a huge, flashing light, microscope, whatever you want to talk about on the Jordan Love pick. And Green Bay, the front office, of course, right, Mike? I mean, they want to make sure when he does play, it goes in the right direction. It starts off in the right foot. They're going to be judged by his success. So now he's coming off a year where there was no OTAs, no rookie mini camps, nothing like that, no weird training camp, no preseason football. So what the hell is he right now? Yeah, Gutekunst, Mark Murphy and company, they don't want to throw out a guy there that they feel like is not a ready product yet, right? Because that's just going to end up being more critical in their life and everything about what that pick was and everything there. So you're right. That's another huge issue here for the Packers, is the fact that they don't have a guy that they can just go, well, we can make it do. I mean, I know they can make it do, but they don't want to make it do with a first-round pick that they traded up to get and have gotten themselves in this situation. They want him to, hit the ground running and go, look, this is why we got rid of the other guy. This guy really can be something, and I'm sure that Jordan Love is not there yet.
Davante Adams also appeared with Peter King on his podcast. Here is a question from Peter about Aaron Rodgers and what Davante Adams had to say in response.
What's been your reaction in the last couple of weeks to the stories about Aaron wanting out?
I mean, it's been tough, man. It's, I've obviously spoke to him a little bit. Can't really share too much of what we talked about, but, it's just something that, part of this business is you got to keep people happy. And it's tough because, you have so much time invested in one place and you've done so much for one place. You just kind of hope to see that respect, reciprocated, I guess you could say. And when it doesn't work out exactly how you want, you have issues like this, but we're just being positive and, I'm just sticking to my training, doing what I have to do to put myself in a position to be ready, whoever my quarterback is, come season. Hope we're praying that it's still Aaron, just so we can continue what we've had going this whole time. But, just going to continue working to see how it plays out.
Do you have a gut feeling whether he will be a Packer this year or not?
I don't, man. I'm just trying to be positive, keep my mind on that. I don't even want to, bring anything else into this universe. I just want to think good thoughts and kind of downplay it in my head and just hope that, at some point it just goes back to normal and we show up to camp and everybody's ready to rock.
Boy, he prefaced all that by saying, I talked to him and there isn't much I can say. And then he said plenty.
He said a lot, right?
He said a lot without attributing it to Aaron Rodgers, but the information that he shared with Peter is information that necessarily comes from his interaction with Aaron Rodgers. And the idea that he doesn't have a gut feeling, that in and of itself is a wow.
Right.
You don't, and I get the sense he's trying not to let himself indulge whatever gut feeling may flow from the information he has, because that gut feeling could be, this guy's gone.
Right. He doesn't want that. He doesn't listen to that part of the gut. Right.
I don't want to pursue this feeling I have that if push comes to shove, he's not going to be here. And this is the guy who last week said, got to appreciate what you got while you got it. And Aaron Rodgers clicked the like button on that tweet. And look, part of what Adams also said, it confirms the existence of an issue. You hope to see respect reciprocated. When you say that in this context, it confirms that Aaron Rodgers feels disrespected by the organization. Why? Because they traded up last year to draft Jordan Love without telling him and put him on a year-to-year arrangement where they hold all the cards and they decide after 2020, 2021, 2022, that we continue to. It confirms everything. What Davante Adams said to Peter King in response to two questions, even though Adams was trying to be very careful and circumspect and guarded in what he shared directly from Aaron Rodgers, what he shared indirectly confirms everything, Chris.
100%. And, that's maybe another aspect we haven't really talked about when you hit on this subject. And there's a lot, of course, different angles. But that's an aspect that I feel like maybe I haven't paid attention to. The locker room is going to be on Aaron Rodgers' side. The players are going to be, as much as, hey, they might, whatever. There's probably a few that think, hey, he's a baby or he complains too much or whatever. It doesn't matter. In the NFL, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that even whether you like him or not, he's got enough pelts on the horses, the wall, whatever, general patches, our army. He's got it all. You respect that guy and you give him the respect. And players
general
in a lot
patches.
I don't know what the hell they are.
General patches?
You know, the things that they put on there to give them. Is that what they're called?
Epaulets?
Is that what they're called? I don't even know. Great. Yes.
Medals?
Yes.
Medals?
Sure. Medals
about?
sounds
Medals?
good. Those medals are good. I like the medals. Yes. But you don't do that to a guy like Aaron Rodgers, especially not like, he's not in the prime of his career, but it's not like coming to an end as we've talked about so many times. So he's going to have all the players looking through a Davante Adams, lens that we just heard, where it's like, hey, you hope to get the respect that you get, you give, and you hope to get that back. Yeah, that's what he's referring to. Players are going to be on Rodgers' side with this because they're going to feel he's been wrong. So Rodgers probably has very good support within the locker room.
Especially from the guys who are responsible to catch the passes he throws. Because he retains a wide degree of discretion as to where he's going to throw those passes. Not that he has a ton of great options other than Davante Adams. Still, that's his guy. Those guys are tied together. And they've lived it. They've seen it. They surely had the same what the hell are the Packers doing
Exactly, right.
When they know how close they are after the 2019 season to being a Super Bowl team, a first-round pick and a fourth-round pick are packaged together to go up and get a guy who, best-case scenario, will never play. That's the best-case scenario because we have Aaron Rodgers. Why are we doing this at the quarterback position? Peyton Manning never had a backup like that. The best quarterbacks don't need backups like that. Now, the Patriots did a little bit with Tom Brady, and it worked. Stir the pot a little bit, but never a first-rounder.
No.
So, other guys in the locker room are going to look at it, and they're going to be upset too. Not as upset as the guy who's in the middle of it, but I'm not surprised Adams supports Rodgers, and my guess is if you lined up every guy in the locker room and had that same conversation, they would say basically what Davante Adams said.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. I mean, you laid it out there perfectly. And Kristen, put that graphic back up there with the wide receiver stats and everything. I mean, listen, this is wrong. This sheet is wrong. This is not a good look. This is, if you're a top-tier offense, you don't want to have one guy that says 115 receptions, and then the next guy is a tight end with 52 receptions. And let me just say, out of those 52 receptions, I'm going to say 25 of them are bootlegs where he came behind the line of scrimmage and caught the ball 1 yard deep or in the flat behind the line of scrimmage. So this speaks to the lack of weapons and sometimes the diversity in how they, feature people within this offense. And it's not just right now. This has been a Rodgers thing for a while in Green Bay. But that good, really good offenses, complete offenses, not offenses that are just good with a top 10 receiver and the second best quarterback in football that makes us think it's great. Really good offenses that have a lot of things, as we've talked about. They have more than one guy you have to focus on in the pass game. And that's where the Packers have done Rodgers wrong. And Adams, he loves it and all that type of stuff, but still, he's probably going, wait, I could get 115 still if we could get another receiver in here to get 70 receptions and be a dangerous guy and do all of that. So he's going to continue to stick up with Rodgers. There's no doubt about that. They have a special thing. I can speak from experience. It's not easy to get that type of chemistry that those two have. I've never even been on that level, but it is a special thing, and you don't want to give that away for anything. And I'm sure that's what Davante Adams is scared of too.
For clarity, that graphic that we have shown is the receivers and tight ends only. Aaron Jones isn't on there. He had 47 catches, 355 yards last year, and a couple of touchdowns. So that adds to it. It's another weapon. It's another target. It's another guy higher up on the list, frankly, than everyone but Davante Adams.
Right.
But as it relates to receivers, everybody's got running back that you can throw the football to. I don't want to understate what Aaron Jones does for the offense, but when you're talking about receivers and tight ends, we talked earlier about Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they're doing what they can to invest assets for a guy like a Mecole Hardman. They hope Byron Pringle comes around. They found a way to keep Sammy Watkins last year. They understand you need to have an array
DeMarcus
of
Robinson
weapons.
is no slouch.
Just can't be the one guy who, until he gets double covered and taken away, you just feed him, and then you worry about where you're going to send the ball once Davante Adams is blanketed sufficiently when he's tearing you up like we've seen him do so many times. So, bottom line, the silence continues from Aaron Rodgers, but we don't need to hear anything from Aaron Rodgers at this point to know there is a very real issue. It isn't going away. You know, one thing I noticed, though, yesterday that was fascinating to me, last week, the Packers and the Broncos win totals were taken off of PointsBet. I checked all the major sports books last night. The Broncos are on at 8.5. The Packers are still off. So I don't know what Vegas is thinking currently. I don't know if Vegas, it tells me they have concluded this guy isn't getting traded. The only question is he going to play for the Packers, or is he going to sit or go to Jeopardy or do something other than play football at all? Because the Broncos are back, the Packers are still off.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is saying there. You're right. You know, and again, I mean, like you said the other day, if this does come to a point where finally, all right, both sides have had it, I mean, there's teams that are going to come out of the weeds here and be interested in Aaron Rodgers in a trade market and trying to figure something out and anything like that. But, man, it goes back to the root thing here. You know, yeah, there's issues here, everything like that. But can Rodgers really get his hands dirty and get muddy and everything like that and really be the jerk that he probably needs to be to push himself out the door? And also within that, you know, sacrificing this is different, you know, than Peyton Manning leaving the Colts, where the team was kind of going downhill, and other things like even Brady leaving the Patriots. Like, this team, yeah, even though we want them to have more help, they're still damn good, as we've seen. And, of course, he makes them great and makes them that Super Bowl contender. And is he willing to sacrifice and leave that while he's still really good and, you know, playing at the top of his game? Man, I don't know. That's why I think the more time goes on here, I think Rodgers is slowly going to come back to Green Bay and realize that, like, yeah, it's not perfect, but I like the coaches, I like the players, I'm damn good still, and we can still be damn good. And screw the front office. I'm going to play the year, and I'll make a mess of it after the year's over.
But that's why I think they are taking the position they have, because they believe at the end of the day
that he will
stay away. He won't sit out.
Right.
He won't pay back $11.5 million to skip this year. He won't give back the $6.8 million he's already earned in a roster bonus for this year. He won't give up one of the remaining years of his career, because even if he doesn't play, Father Time is still going to push him one more trip around the sun, and he's going to be in a position where maybe he gets injured, maybe the fastball starts to lose some of its oomph, maybe it's a little harder to get to the level of performance that he had last year. So why is he going to give a year of that up and incur the wrath of the fan base if he doesn't show up for and I look at the points on the calendar. You've got the OTAs, voluntary, but the OTAs are coming sooner rather than later. Does he show up for the OTAs? That'll be news if he doesn't. Mandatory minicamp in June. Does he show up for that? If he skips that, it's definitely news, and it lays the foundation for a potential training camp holdout. Then you've got the shareholders meeting in between mandatory minicamp and training camp. There's a lot of points on the calendar between now and training camp where we're going to get some clarity.
Yeah.
But I still think that at the end of the day, if he can find a way to backpedal, and I think that the comments last week,
I think so too.
Talked about this Friday, the John Kuhn remarks and the James Jones remarks.
That was the
who
start
had
of
talked
it.
to him and did speak, didn't say, "Oh, I can't speak for him."
Right.
I feel like they were surrogates for Aaron Rodgers to begin to lay the foundation for him to eventually say, well, "Of course I was going to be here. Was there ever any doubt? What are you talking about? What's the big deal? Why is everybody looking at me? Why is everyone concerned about that nonsense?" After he lights the fuse and the bomb goes off and he wonders why there's shrapnel everywhere. I have a feeling
it seems
we're
like
in store
right
for that kind of a what's wrong with everybody? What do you mean? I unplugged from social media for a couple of weeks and look at everything that's had just some some not credible BS like what we heard in hindsight. Yeah, I want to go back and watch his interview with Pat McAfee 2 days after the NFC Championship game, knowing what we know now.
Yeah, I know.
All the efforts to downplay.
Right.
Oh, do you want a new contract? Oh, well, we always have conversations about it. Yeah, we have conversations about how you want out. Are those conversations every year? So I'm bracing for the Aaron Rodgers, I don't know why this is a big deal. And then he pivots and spins it back against us, either specifically or generally. It's our fault for making it a big deal. Baloney. I say in advance, and I'll say after the fact. Baloney. He's had extended opportunities to come out and say what's really going on, and his silence has only caused this to continue to boil. And the Davante Adams comments to Peter King. Perfect example, Chris, of silence from Rodgers, but talking privately to someone and someone making it clear that there's an issue. I was going to say he can't come out now and say there wasn't an issue, it's all overblown. He can do whatever he wants, but we don't have to believe it. We can say, you're full of it, pal. And I'm ready to say you're full of it, pal, when he tries to do that.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we're past that point. Hopefully he would be smart enough to realize like he can't go backwards that way either. He can't put the toothpaste back in the toothpaste holder on that one.
But if most of the audience is dumb enough to buy it, then you can get away with it.
Well, you're right. I mean, hey, listen, you're right, and there is an audience out there that's dumb enough to buy just about anything right now. But yeah, I am going to be interested to see how he handles this situation altogether. And you bring up the McAfee thing.
I don't mean our audience. I don't mean our audience.
I know,
is very
and you meant it as a whole, right? I got you.
I mean broader. Yes, cheeseheads. Not all of them, but enough of them.
Yes,
the ones who would be inclined to be mad at him if he comes back and says, "Hey, I love all of you. I love Green Bay. I'm not going anywhere." Their relief will be enough to get them to believe whatever it is he has to say, and then be mad at us for making a big deal about it and putting them through these weeks of angst.
Well, he might be mad at us and the media and say, "Yeah, we spinned it around." I'm going to be interested to see his approach.
Don't care anymore.
I'm going to
don't care.
Yeah,
anymore.
I don't think he's going to be stupid enough to do that this time around. And I would also say to the Green Bay Packer fans, again, I know Rodgers, hey, he's a pain in the butt and he's caused some issues here too, but what did you expect? What did you expect? This is still Green Bay's fault. I'll go back to something I heard Mike Holmgren talking about this weekend. I mean, you got to know your quarterback and know that, if you make that kind of move, this is the kind of stuff that could happen. And that's where, I can't imagine Green Bay fans being too mad at Rodgers when all's said and done, when he finally does say he wants to come back and all that, or tries to, mend this together. But I want to ask you this, Mike. Back in January when you brought up that McAfee thing, right? Do you think at that time, and I'm going to give you my sense, I don't know, do you think he really wanted to leave the team at that point? I think that at that point it was more about just getting the security from the contract, right? And then maybe it's manifested itself to not get the answers he wanted through these visits from everybody to then where it's like, okay, the hell with you guys, I want out of here? Or do you think he was kind of always like, I kind of want out of here from the get-go, even back to the McAfee interview?
I think when he said what he said in January, he had the flow chart in his brain, if not reduced to writing somewhere, as to how this is going to go.
Yeah,
here's how this is going to go. I'm the MVP of football. You put this guy behind me, you traded up to get him, you're trying to prod me into becoming a better player, so I have to worry about what you'll do if I'm not a better player. I'm not going to play that game anymore. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a contract that is going to make Jordan Love irrelevant. It's going to tie the Packers to me. I'm tied to the Packers for as long as they want me, at least for 3 more years. They're not tied to me. They can get rid of me anytime they want, and maybe after 1 more year they will. I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to short-circuit that. So the one way to do it is to try to get a new contract that would bind us together and get them to admit that they screwed up, get them to maybe trade Jordan Love. Whatever the case may be, neutralize that threat. Yeah. I think that was one of the points, one of the boxes on the flow chart. And if yes, they agree, problem solved. If no, that's when you continue to further steps and whatever the content of the conversations were, whatever prompted the brain trust to go out there at least 3 times to try to unruffle his feathers, and it didn't work. I think he knew before he started down this path that one of the potential destinations would be, I'm done here, I want out, or at least an effort to get out, even if it ultimately on the flow chart ends up Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. The flow chart may have split early, But at the end of the day, the flow chart may come back together with the end result being he stays in Green Bay.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes. I mean, I get it. I'd understand it. I mean, if I'm him, I'd err on coming back too. I mean, I'd be going, damn, I'm too good. We're still too good, even though they haven't supported me. I mean, we were close last year, and they could have won the Super Bowl last year. They could have done it. They could have beat the Chiefs in that game and everything like that with the way Mahomes was hurt, everything there. I mean, it was there for the taking. So, the other thing, too, here, like Matt Casey, our producer, who's, he's a Mets and Jets fan, so he's not that smart, and he's lack of brain cells. But he did
My
bring
God,
up
that was completely gratuitous.
I know.
Completely unnecessary.
I feel like it was very necessary on a Tuesday morning. I got to do something to liven this show up a little, get him going. But, like, what he brings up the point with, like, even the Jeopardy stuff with Rodgers. Was that part of the plan of, like, putting pressure on the situation? I mean, knowing him and, the way you explain it, I wouldn't doubt that either, that was a little bit of maybe a planned approach to put, himself out there with the hosting stuff too.
But think about it. We first heard of the issue being a real thing after he cleared his 2-week stint with Jeopardy. Before that, it was hyping Jeopardy. And when he made the media rounds, there was no reason for anyone to say, hey, Aaron, you're thinking about leaving the Packers this year? I mean, it did play out perfectly from the standpoint of he made multiple appearances aimed at maximizing the ratings for his 2-week stint at Jeopardy. Oh, and it worked, by the way. And then when Anderson Cooper was hosting after Aaron Rodgers, that's when Aaron Rodgers diverts everyone's attention from Jeopardy.
Don't watch him. Don't watch him.
Don't watch Anderson Cooper. Don't watch Jeopardy anymore. Tune in and watch NFL Network and SportsCenter. Oh, and Peacock, by the way, PFT Live and PFT PM, to find out what's going on with me and what I'm going to do. So, look, as I've said many times, and I've gotten some pushback from folks via email, they think I'm giving Rodgers too much credit. They think that I'm overstating his overall intellectual capacity. But when you've proven that you're extremely smart, when you've won the celebrity tournament on Jeopardy, when you revel in your Wonderlic score in the presence of Brett Favre and make fun of him for his, allegedly, from the Jeff Pearlman biography of Brett Favre, you're going to be regarded as a smart guy, and people are just going to presume that there are no coincidences, there are no accidents, that everything you do is the product of careful and deliberate strategic thought, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got that reputation. There's no doubt. He's not getting rid of that anytime soon. And, yeah, the fact that we just have too many instances where it seems like everything was calculated and played a certain way to not think, or at least, entertain the thoughts that this was all planned out and part of a big PR push and everything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy situation. What an unreal offseason. I've never seen anything like it. Franchise quarterbacks dangling from strings from organizations like I've never seen before, and I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm going to play the bet that he's going to come to his senses, realize he's got a coach he likes, some players and team he likes, give the big old middle finger to the front office on a daily basis, and just go out there and keep throwing touchdowns, and he'll be back with the Packers. I just think we've gone too far down the road now to where I just don't see a trade or him ending up on another team at this point happening.
I found our post from 2016 after the Brett Favre book came out, and again, if you've never read it, it holds up. It's it's the story of Brett Favre and everything that goes along with Brett Favre's experience in the NFL. When Aaron Rodgers showed up in 2005, he was bragging that he got. This is all from the book. This is all reportedly. This is all from the book. I'm not saying it's factual, but I don't think Jeff Pearlman would have written these things if he hadn't vetted it. Rodgers was bragging that he got a 35 on the Wonderlic, and he said, Brett, what did you get? I have no idea, Favre said. Rodgers said, I do. I looked it up. You got a 22. And eventually, and that pissed Brett off.
I bet.
Yeah. And eventually, Donald Driver, Packers receiver at the time, pulled Rodgers aside and said, Aaron, we get it. You're smart. Now shut the F up. So we established way back in 2005.
Got to put the rookie in his place.
Rodgers
Yeah.
is smart.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.